Welcome to Between the Left and a Hard Place. I'm your host, Dean Charles, and we are Center Left Podcast. See, it's right up here. Guys out there, the 80% of Democrats that identify center left, you out there, independents, you out there, maybe even the center right, maybe seeing a little bit more, our way. If you're not that happy with President Trump, I don't know. Anyway, here's the state of the Democratic Party right now. The Democratic Socialists of America and the Democrats do not belong in the same party. I've been saying this over and over again. I had a radio show here in Las Vegas for 4 years, a Hanning and Combs style radio show where I defended the Democrats on a daily basis. Every time we were on, Republicans called in and called every Democratic a socialist. And it's still happening now, all over the news everywhere. Everyone considers all the Democratic socialists. The socialists are getting all the news. Are the Democrats really socialists? I'm starting to believe I was wrong. Maybe all the Democrats are socialists. Zohran Mamdani, people supporting Zohran Mamdani. If you support Zohran Mamdani, he is a full-fledged member of the Democratic Socialists of America. He is a socialist. If you endorse him, you are a socialist. Mikey Sherrill, who's running for governor of New Jersey, I hear you endorse him. That means you're a socialist. Are you crazy? That's your constituency? Are you sure? Kathy Hochul, you endorsed them? You're a socialist. I mean, the list goes on and on. Elizabeth Warren. But anyway, there is a modicum of hope. I want to express a modicum of hope because there have been just recently, some Democrats who come out and said, and agreed with me and said, the Democrats and the Democratic Socialists of America don't belong in the same party. It's a different party. And there's a few. Tom Suozzi, the congressman from Long Island and Nassau County, parts of maybe a little bit of New York City. He's the first one to come out and say it. The Democrats and Democratic Socialists of America do not belong in the same party, and he's not endorsing Zohran Mamdani. Same with Josh Gottheimer, congressman from New Jersey, said the same thing as Tom Suozzi, right? Not endorsing him, don't belong in the same party. The head of the Democratic chair for the state of New York, Jay Jacobs, also said the same thing. We need more people like that to come out, take that stance. I was watching Bill Maher the other day, and Bill Maher was starting to take that stance. He said, do the Democratic Socialists of America belong in the same party as the Democrats? And his guests were Joe Manchin and Alex Wagner from Pod Save America. And, Alex Wagner pushed back right away. Or the big umbrella, the big tent, there's room for everybody. And that's just bullshit. Do you understand? Do you understand why you lost the last election? Do you have any idea? I think you're forgetting. Let me remind you, okay? This is Stephen A. Smith on the Bill Maher show, I don't know, back in February or March. Now listen to this.
The man was impeached twice. He was convicted on 34 felony counts. And the American people still said, he's closer to normal than what we see.
Exactly.
Left. That's what they're saying. He's closer to normal. And they want to sit up there and talk. You look at the networks right now, they're talking about him. Look at it. This is the latest. Look at him. Here he goes again. Well, you know what here he goes again means? He's doing what he said he was going to do. He promised you he was going to do these things, and he walked into office week one, and that's exactly what he's doing. And he's saying, y'all do something about it. And when you try to do something about it, he's going to say, look at them now. Now they're concerned about these issues. Were they talking about that during the campaign? Hell no. That's really it.
Okay, you understand what that means? What the Democrats are offering was so bad that Donald Trump won. Donald Trump's the president. He's the president now. You brought this on. Do you understand? This is how this happened. You're not getting it. It's the direct result of DEI and socialism. If you can't understand that and be on the wrong side of every damn 80-20 issue, because everyone in DEI and the socialists are on the wrong side of every 80-20 issue, every one of them. If you're going to be on the wrong side of every 80-20 issue, you're not going to win. You have no shot. Listen, Hakeem Jeffries, I hear you're thinking about endorsing Mamdani. Are you kidding me? That makes you a socialist. Do you think you can go to the 35 or 40 districts, swing districts that you need to win to become Speaker of the House? You can say, hey, you can give a reason why. You can satisfy the people in the swing districts. You can satisfy their need to know why you would do that. Are you a socialist or a capitalist? Because if you endorse Mamdani, you're a socialist. It's plain and simple. This is ridiculous. I mean, The Democrats don't realize why they lost the last election, why you lost the youth vote. Everyone credits Charlie Kirk for bringing home the Republican victory, or a big part of it. And the reason is the youth vote, because the socialists and the DEI people were telling the youth they're worthless. You understand that? Especially the men. They're telling the men, and specifically the straight white men, but really all men, except for the gay guys, because for whatever reason, the socialists give the gay guys a pass because they're in the oppressed category, right? They're oppressed, right? I don't know. That's how they feel. So gay guys get a pass. But all the other men, all the other straight men, and specifically more straight white men, you tell them you're worthless. Your life isn't worth anything. You have no value. Go sit in the corner and shut up. I don't want to hear from a white man. This is what you told the youth. This is what they've been told. I know firsthand. This is what you've been telling them. So Charlie Kirk comes along and tells them, no, you have value. You have worth. Your life means something. And here's how, right? He took everybody at their level and told them what their value was, and how their life could have meaning. I know Charlie Kirk is a conservative and really, truly a man of faith, right? He was truly, driven by his faith. And that came across in everything he basically said. But when it came to dealing with the kids, he was straight up honest with them, telling them that they have value and they have self-worth. He didn't care if someone was a different religion or a different race. I don't know where the racism thing comes from, Charlie Kirk, because I never saw it. I watch a lot of news and a lot of political podcasts, and I saw Charlie Kirk. I saw him on a lot of podcasts. I seen him on Chris Cuomo and Bill Maher and Stephen A. Smith, and even Gavin Newsom. He was the first guest on when Gavin Newsom started his podcast. Right. And then his podcast and some of the conservative podcasts. I've never heard him be racist. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where the DEI and socialist things come from that says he was racist. It doesn't make sense to me. You're going to listen to Ilhan Omar and Jasmine Crockett? Because if you are, you're just going to lose. Hakeem Jeffries, you got to understand, this is not where America is. There's a small segment of America that is. And it's the minority, the close minority. And you better look at the numbers. You should go to Harry Enton and ask him what the numbers truly are. Would you rather have the center and the left-leaning Democrats and maybe some of the right-leaning Republicans? Or would you have the socialists and the DEI people, the far left, the far left progressives? Which one? Where are the bigger numbers? Where are the numbers that you truly need? Because look, a guy like me, I'm a Bill Clinton Democrat, right? I've been a lifelong Democrat. Joe Manchin was saying the same thing on Bill Maher the other day. He's a lifelong Democrat, but you're losing us, seriously. Let me tell you something. The same goes for all the kids Charlie Kirk was focusing on, right? All these kids that used to be Democrats. And, the Democrats were like wondering how they say they need the Joe Rogan on the left. Well, you're not going to get it through socialism. You're just not, right? Joe Rogan is another one who just attracted the young kids with a similar message. These guys saw that what DEI and the socialists were doing to these young kids, and they created the manosphere from the blog world, in the podcast world, right? I mean, blog world, the podcast world. You don't seem to understand this stuff. Seriously, what is going through your minds? If you want to win, if you need to win, you need to know where the numbers are. So where are they? Go figure it out. Because I'm telling you, it's in the middle. Your numbers aren't on the far left. They're the minority. It's not who we are. And if you back a socialist, you are a socialist. You're not a capitalist. And I encourage you to learn what socialism and communism really are, right? Have you read the Democratic Socialists of America political platform? Let me read one line. DSA is a socialist feminist organization. Why would any guys want to vote for that? I mean, they're racist. Zohran Mamdani is offering free stuff. Really, that's all he does is offer free stuff to everyone. That's how he's going to seduce everyone. In my mind, it's candy, little boy. I mean, you know the analogy, right? That's what you're going to do. You're going to accept that. I call the DSA political platform AOC's Project 2029. And you should read it. It's way more than defund the police is really bad. I mean, it's really just defund the police. The prison system, abolish it. Abolish the prison system, let all the prisoners out of jail, open the borders, straight out, open all the borders, right? The Democrats had to learn a tough lesson. I didn't believe it when the Republicans started telling me when Biden first got elected about what was going on at the border. I refused to believe it. I thought they were making it up. Comes out they were right. They were absolutely 100% right. Now the socialists want to just open the borders, and that's where it came from. Open the borders to everyone, and then free Medicare for all. I mean, these are just some of the things. Free Medicare for all. You're going to let everybody in across the border and offer free Medicare and offer to go to the doctors for free? How are the doctors going to get paid? They go to school for 12 years, right? And they're going to want to get paid. The nurse practitioners want to get paid. The physician's assistants want to get paid. All the medical technicians want to get paid. X-ray technicians, respiratory therapists, all the way down, all across the technicians everywhere in the medical field, right? All the way down to the people in the doctor's offices that run the office. The doctors can't survive without them, right? Same in the hospitals. Everybody that runs the offices and checks people in and does the triage, whatever, in the hospitals, and all the way down to the janitor who sweeps the floor because the hospitals have to be clean. I don't think people realize the amount of people it takes to run the medical industry in this country. How are you going to pay for it? These people want to get paid. They're not going to work for free. So learn about socialism. Seriously, take a hard look. Lenin, Marx, Stalin, go back and look and see what they did, the violence. Honestly, I mean, I know Ben Shapiro is a conservative, but he wrote a recent book where he goes into depth about it. How many people are killed and murdered in the name of socialism? In the name of because they were anti-capitalist. Anybody that had money or land didn't deserve it. So let's just kill them, right? Read about this stuff. Go and really read about it, seriously. And Abigail Spanberger, listen, I've always really liked and admired you. I thought you were a great center-left politician, right? You're pragmatic, realistic, all the things that, willing to talk to people, willing to work both sides of the aisle, something that we need in this day and age. But you were asked this weekend about biological men competing in women's sports, and you fumbled. You Democrats, we have to get on the right side of the 80-20 issue. Seriously, it's really important. Here's the correct answer. Biological men don't belong in women's sports. We support the transgender community. We want people to be happy and feel safe and whoever they are, right? Allow them to be whoever they are. Nobody's passing judgment on any of that. But as far as biological men competing in men's sports, no, that's not even an 80-20 issue. That's a 99-1. Seriously. You know why? The answer, this is your answer. Democrats have daughters also. Democrats have daughters too. Seriously, please think about that. Get on the right side of the 80-20 issues. You can't win without being on the right side of the 80-20 issues. Democrats have a lot of 80-20 issues they can be on the right side of. When it comes to immigration, we believe in due process, right? That's an 80-20 issue. You can't just send people out of the country for no reason. Give them due process. That's an 80-20 issue. That's just one example. There's plenty of them. Get on the right side of the 80-20 issues. Well, that's the state of the Democratic Party right now. I don't even know what to say. Let me know if you agree or disagree. The Democrats can't straighten this out. If they can't denounce socialism, they have no chance they're going to lose, next election. Just gone. Anyway, please like, comment, do whatever, you want. But look out for my next episode. And I really appreciate it. Talk to you later.